more than 2 months since he first floated the idea of tariffs on goods from Canada and Mexico, Donald Trump says there's nothing either country can do to stop him.
They've treated us very unfairly. And I say, why should we be subsidizing Canada? It's wonderful. I have so many friends in Canada. It's a great place.
Is there a concession
But
you're looking for, sir?
no, we're not looking for a concession. And we'll just see what happens.
Today, as the president golfed in Florida, his administration delivered on the threat. The White House announcing it will impose 25% tariffs on Canadian products imported into the U.S. starting Tuesday, but with a lower rate of 10% on Canadian oil and gas. The White House says the tariffs were required to stop what it called an emergency of fentanyl deaths. The U.S. also announcing additional tariffs of 10% on all goods made in China. The tariffs on Canada will stay in place until fentanyl smuggling is stopped. And they could be increased if Canada retaliates with tariffs of its own on U.S. exports. Canadian officials had spent weeks trying to convince the administration that Trump's concerns had been addressed, pointing to $1.3 billion in new border strengthening measures that appear to have failed to convince him to back off. The provincial and territorial premiers this afternoon meeting virtually with the Prime Minister to formulate a response. Cabinet ministers last night vowed Canada would hit back. Details of that plan still to come Saturday evening. With energy tariffed at a lower rate than other products, the federal government faces a difficult choice. Put an export tariff on Canadian crude oil to hit U.S. motorists filling up at the pumps, but risk enraging oil exporters Alberta and Saskatchewan. Or leave it be and force other industries, the auto sector, forestry, agriculture, to shoulder a larger share of the burden. Liberal leadership candidate and former finance minister Chrystia Freeland has suggested Canada strike back with tariffs against Tesla, the electric vehicle maker run by Trump confidant Elon Musk, and block all imports of American beer, wine, and spirits. Canadian businesses have been preparing, trying to get as much product shipped before the tariffs kick in, but now bracing for revenue losses and potentially layoffs in the hundreds of thousands.
In my estimation, we could see impacts on workers and jobs within weeks, if not days.
That pain, economists say, will also be felt on the other side of the border.
It is not going to help the U.S. grow. It's not going to help Canada grow. It's really something that's going to shoot both of our nations in the foot.
Canada and the U.S. have enjoyed free trade since 1989. Now, the USMCA agreement that governed $1.3 trillion in annual trade appears to have been cast aside in what the Wall Street Journal calls the dumbest trade war in history, leaving Canadian workers and consumers to face a potential recession and the relationship between neighbors forever changed. Glen McGregor, City News, Ottawa.